5 steps how I feel my feminine energy and healed my anxious attachment style at the same time in relationships. Let's talk about something I never thought I would say out loud. I feel my feminine energy because for the longest time I was deep in this toxic and masculine hustle. Not because I wanted to be, because I felt like I had to be, because relaxing into my feminine energy felt unsafe. I was overfunctioning, overthinking, overgiving, over everythinging, because I was stuck in my anxious attachment cycle, trying to stay in control so I didn't get abandoned. Because for my nervous system, getting a rejection or getting abandoned felt like the most dangerous thing. That's what I've learned and associated with my childhood somehow. By the way, hi, I'm Yula. I'm the Anxious to Secure coach, and welcome to the Anxious to Secure podcast. Disclaimer, I'm not a therapist or doctor. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, or heal any mental health condition. If you're in an abusive relationship or dealing with severe mental health challenges, always seek professional advice. This is a perfect opportunity to make a short episode, but a very powerful one. So I healed my anxious attachment style and became securely attached. And I didn't even realize that I had a very masculine energy lots of times because I didn't really feel safe. And then one day I heard this creator say, you have to surrender to your man. And I was like, nope, that sounds very strange. I will definitely not do that. And it was like a full body hell no. And first I thought, okay, let me get curious about that. What is it all about? And I thought my partner is a good partner. I kind of knew there wasn't an issue with him. I was in a healthy overall relationship, because this is important. You need to understand if your partner is not a good partner, physically, emotionally, somehow you can't be feminine. You need to protect yourself. But I didn't have this problem. My problem was more of a deep down fear of being abandoned and feeling emotionally unsafe. So I felt deep down, I can't trust this relationship, myself, him. I will be left, and how is it even going to work? And I wasn't the only one. So many people in comments of this post, of this person saying you have to surrender, relax, surrender, like how safe is this? And that is really cringe. That's very outdated and old school, and you shouldn't do this to anyone, especially not to a man. And I kind of agreed with this. And I think surrender is a very bad word, and you shouldn't use this wording, I think, in general. Because it can kind of sound like, oh my God, you're putting him as the center of your relationship on into your world, and you do what you've been told by a man and all of these things. So you have to be very careful, I think, how you actually word this. And I kind of get, I think, what we're trying to say, but yeah, it's not as black and white. But there was something true in there. Leaning back and learning to receive and to relax is very, very important. To switch off your anxious brain and not to overthink, to overdo things, to overgive, trying to prove to the other person, hey, you know what, I'm a great partner, I'm good enough, I'm worthy, I'm lovable all the time, subconsciously, is you basically being in survival mode. That's not healthy. So you can't lean into your feminine energy. You can't soften, you can't trust, you can't receive, you can't feel safe if you have an abandonment fear, if you have an anxious attachment style, if you haven't learned to heal this part within yourself. And when your body doesn't feel safe, you flip everything upside down, you're triggered all the time, you reinforce these triggers, and you're in survival mode. And for anxious women, survival mode often looks like being stuck in this toxic, more masculine energy, controlling, fixing, proving, performing. Let's talk about how this even shows up, like through micromanaging, through over-proving, through being in their head all the time, through doing a lot of things for their partner, thinking ahead of their appointments, planning their schedule, correcting things and what they're doing wrong, redoing the cushions again, redoing when they're hanging up the clothes on the rack, redoing it for them. But you're not doing it from confidence, you're doing it out of fear and anxiety. You're not able to let go, you're not able to detach. You're pushing yourself at work like your worth depends on it. You have to prove to yourself and to other people like you are able to rise to this CEO level, to this certain degree. because this makes you feel good enough. You're climbing that ladder, chasing that income, working 60 plus hours or 2 jobs, being the best because you're a lawyer or a doctor or even, founder of a business or a CEO, and you connected this achievement with your worth. You're literally killing it on paper, you're an overachiever, but inside you're exhausted and eventually you will burn out. And every time you're telling yourself, you have to do this, otherwise deep down you don't feel like you deserve to relax, you don't deserve a holiday, you are not really good enough, you're not lovable, and you need all of this in order to fill in the blank. And it's not just coming from desire, it's actually coming from survival. You're obsessed with your body or your fitness routine. I have a lot of clients who are obsessed with working out, and working out is actually a great tool. Moving your body creates so much self-confidence and makes you feel good. And I realize this for myself as well. Every time I move, whether this be just weightlifting or I have this, machine, this rowing machine. It's incredible for myself, for my mental health, going outside for a walk, paddleboarding, and all of this is amazing. But when you do this in order to prove yourself again, that when you do this out of the wrong reasons, just for the other person, just to chase maybe male validation or approval or attention, then rather out of passion and motivation, it can become this addictive chase where you're never really relaxed and you're doing this out of a lack of self-worth instead of because you're worthy of yourself. Again, you're doing it out of the wrong reasons. I have to do this to feel good enough. I do this so I'm lovable, depending on your specific core belief here, on your limiting belief. Or you're hyper independent in your relationship. You plan the dates, you fix the fights, you do everything in the household, you check in, analyze, you anticipate, you're managing him, managing your kids, managing yourself, managing the future, managing his doctor appointments. Why? Because it feels like you can't let go. Because if you let go, perhaps he pulls away, you lose control, and your anxiety will just shoot through the roof, and you just don't feel safe to just receive, to take a few steps back. And this is what I call, toxic masculine energy. When you're in your wounded feminine energy, it's not because this energy is bad and you shouldn't be in this energy, but it's because when it's wounded, it's controlling, it's rigid, it's disconnected from the emotion. It's survival energy. It's not safe. And when we're stuck there, our feminine energy can't breathe. We need both. We need the masculine energy and the feminine energy. And you can be more in your masculine energy. Let's say if you're at work and you want to be a CEO, but maybe in your relationship, you want to step back. So then you give your partner room to step it up more. But if you always just step it up, you don't give your partner the chance to step it up too. Because the energies, need each other to balance each other out. So let's talk about what is actually masculine versus feminine energy for a second. Let's keep it simple. Masculine energy is structure, direction, logic, and doing most of all. Feminine energy is more softness, trusting, feeling, flow, it's more being. You need both, as I said. We all have both, no matter your gender. But when you are anxious attached, you often overdeveloped your masculine energy as a shield and disconnecting from your feminine. So let's talk about the 5 first steps that helped me in my relationships when I was doing all of these things for all my life, not just in my romantic relationships, also at work, in my friendships, with my family. And that helped my clients now a lot to soften, to feel relaxed, to just take a step back. So then your partner has a chance to come naturally back to you, so you don't have to chase. And it feels so much better if you can not think about, let's say, when you're traveling to go to holiday and going to the airport when your partner takes over everything and you just literally sit there. And I'm struggling with migraines still. I have hormonal migraines. So when I have them, I can't do that much, or I have to do much less. So it's so amazing when my partner steps up a lot more than usual, and just takes over everything. When we go shopping, my partner just does everything nowadays. Years ago, when I had my anxious attachment style, my partner wasn't doing much when we were going shopping, and he asked me 3 times if he wanted this product or that product. He was very unsure because he knew that I was very specific. I was not relaxed. I was hyper controlling, and now I'm relaxed. I don't mind if he gets a product wrong, and he now has exactly his focus. He gets into the supermarket. He knows exactly what we both want, and it's just so much easier, and it's just safety, regulation, action, and I don't criticize him when he does something that I wouldn't agree necessarily on. And yeah, this is where you can really thrive in a relationship. Step 1 is ask, am I safe here? This is key to realize first when you start off. You can't be in your feminine if you don't feel safe. I don't mean you have to be in this perfect place where you get all of the reassurance every day from your partner, where your partner is perfectly emotionally available. But I mean safe, like, is your partner emotionally, mentally, physically safe? Is he a safe partner? Not abusive. My content is not for anyone who's in a harmful place. So don't consume this. Don't take any of my notes if you're usually in an unsafe place, because you can't relax, you can't surrender, you can't lean back. You have to set boundaries and walk away and get actually help in your relationship, right? So this is extremely important to know. If your partner manipulates you, if you can't feel safe, you can't breathe, there's a reason why you're in survival energy. So if your nervous system is constantly in trauma response, no amount of journaling or talking to yourself that you have to feel calm right now, or soft girl era talk from TikTok will help you in this moment. Safety is most important. Get help. Try to talk to family and really open yourself up. The worst thing is you can do is keep everything for yourself. Even if you're not sure, reach out for any kind of support to someone. So, step 2, recognize the masculine mask. So what parts of you are overfunctioning to feel worthy or trying to avoid pain? You could ask yourself, where am I controlling or not trusting my partner right now? Where am I performing instead of just feeling? And taking a step back and just relaxing. Where am I giving too much instead of just receiving? Where am I attaching instead of detaching? Where am I trying to control something that I can't control? For example, we can control our thoughts, our actions, our emotions, and our outcomes. But we can't control our partner's thoughts, emotions, outcomes. We can only inspire or influence them. But then again, this creates anxiety if you really focus on them versus us. Step 3, regulate before you receive. So soften your body first, do some breath work, shake it out. Cry it out if you need to. Don't shame yourself for it. You can't drop into your feminine if your nervous system is in freeze or fight. Safety comes from before you surrender. Surrender isn't about giving your power away. It's actually empowering yourself. It's about knowing you're safe enough to not having to grip on so tight, to cling onto your partner, to know your body is safe. If you're always in your head, you can also regulate yourself by using an ice pack, putting it on the back of your neck. You can really do exercise. You can have a cool shower, because changing your body temperature, especially through cold temperature, is a very powerful move you can do in that moment. But breathing and taking everything very slow is also very powerful, because your nervous system thinks you're running away from a tiger. It thinks your partner's the tiger or there's danger in your relationship, and it tries to run away. So when you run away, everything you do is very fast. Your heartbeat is very fast. You breathe very shallow. So you want to do the opposite. You want to slow down. You want to breathe very deeply. Exhale longer than you inhale. You want to tell yourself, you know what? There's no danger. When my partner takes a moment to reply, when my partner doesn't call me back, when I don't get the reassurance from my partner or my friends or the approval, I can give this to myself. And even if there's conflict or my partner's mood is off, it's not dangerous. I can sit in this discomfort and I can feel it and I can let it pass, because this is just a moment. And if I manage to feel any negative emotion, my God, imagine what kind of person I could become. 4, lean into the soft moments. Being in your feminine doesn't mean wearing floaty pink silk dresses, putting on red lipstick, red fake long nails, and lighting candles and doing, I don't know, woo-woo spiritual things. It can be if it helps you to step up into your feminine era. But letting my partner plan the date or the weekend, and also being very assertive and direct and letting him know that this is my need or my wish, and then detaching from it without controlling the situation, without controlling to say, hey, you know what, you should really do this, and no, this is not how I wanted you to plan it. Because when you ask your partner to plan, let's say, a restaurant visit, and he hasn't checked out the ratings online or checked out the best location where you should sit and hasn't done all of these things because you would have done it, you can't criticize him for that. You have to let go, let him deal with all of these things. Another thing you can do is like saying I'm tired and literally resting without guilt, not working on weekends or taking your laptop into bed and checking your emails the first thing you wake up. Really allowing yourself to take a whole week of holidays without thinking about work or without at least checking in on your work emails. Asking for help, even if it feels awkward and new at first, and letting yourself receive compliments or I love yous without giving the same thing back. And number 5 is a little bit of a bigger one, but it's about healing your abandonment wounds. So here's the truth that has changed my life and my relationships and how I felt and my mental health. You're not a little girl anymore. You are now a woman. You are an adult, meaning you are not powerless anymore. You are not helpless. You can feel discomfort and not die. You can be rejected and not take it personal. You can get abandoned and to know you're still safe. Being abandoned as a child is something completely different than being abandoned as an adult, unless you have really needs and someone needs to take care of you physically. Maybe you need a caretaker, that's different. But usually we still associate abandonment with this huge danger because this is what we are wired for. But we need to challenge this and learn through actions, through sitting in the discomfort and telling ourselves, you know what? Nothing happened. Yes, we felt emotional. Yes, we felt all of these kind of emotions, but we can survive this. It probably makes us even stronger. And your body needs evidence for that. Your brain needs evidence for that. So try these journaling prompts. Write down 10 reasons I am safe to self-soothe and hold myself now, even when things feel uncertain. Because when you know you can handle distance, space, conflict, even breakups, even a loss, then you don't need to grip tighter. Then you don't need to micromanage. Then you don't need to chase. Then you don't need to overgive. Then you don't need to stay in unhealthy relationships that only give you breadcrumbs, and you start to relax and soften into your feminine energy, and you start choosing from a calm place and not panic. You can really choose what is best for you and not just to act based on your survival instinct. So it's not about gender roles or power dynamics. It's about feeling the part of you, the part that had to earn to be chosen, that had to prove her value. But you don't. You are safe to rest. You are safe to feel, and you are safe just to show your true, authentic self. You are safe just to be. If you want more resources, I have courses. I'm going to link below in the attachment library, and lots of free journaling prompts, worksheets, downloads, and lots of free stuff. So check them out below. And if you're ready to rewire your abandonment fears, heal your anxious attachment style, become securely attached, and check out also my programs. We can work one-on-one in coaching calls. I have a 4-month and an 8-month container where we can meet bi-weekly on coaching calls, and I give you lots of exercises and tools in between the coaching calls that you can apply to step up into your best regulated version of yourself. However, I usually just take one person every month or every second month. That's why I don't offer this many times. So make the best out of it if you're really committed. There we go really deep into your nervous system, your patterns, your beliefs, and your subconscious mind to rewire your beliefs to feel safe. Because soft doesn't mean weak. It means you trust yourself enough to stop performing. And that is the secure feminine energy. So I hope you loved this episode. Let me know on YouTube what you thought about this and what you want to hear more of. And remember, change in your relationship starts with you. Thought by thought, action by action, and now episode by episode. Lots of love, Yula. Bye bye.